Good afternoon, good morning. We're back for the next session, and we cross from this time from India to Japan. And we're going to hear from Ryu Seitu, someone who has over 20 years of experience in project management and specialized consulting and software services. He's been focused in recent days on enhancing disaster resilience through software as a service solutions and consulting, and has worked with a number of major government agencies and enterprises across Japan and beyond. He is currently the Director of Deployment Management and Customer Success at One Concern. Has also studied internationally, I believe. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what Ryu is going to be discussing this afternoon. In the previous session, you would have heard Deepa talk a lot about the impact on healthcare workers. And I think dovetailing into that or fitting into that is this question of resilience. So as we go through disasters. So talking to the topic of enhancing disaster resilience, a project manager's perspective on lessons learned and best practices from Japan. Would you please join me in welcoming to the stage, Ryu?
Hey, thank you, Jürgen, for introduction me. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, okay. We can hear you okay. All good. Thank you.
All right, I will share my screen, but can you see my screen? Let me see. Let me try again. Here we go.
This disappeared, so you may just need to reload.
Yep. Here we go.
So that's all yours.
All right. So first of all, yeah, I do appreciate the whole arrangement for the PMI community. I'm Ryu Saito. As Jürgen introduced me, I'm a member of PMI Japan chapter, and I'm honored to have opportunity to share my experience and my personal experience, as well as the kind of best practice and lessons learned from Japan. So let me move on to the next slide. Let's see. All right. So here is agenda for today. I'm gonna mainly cover the three things. The one is a kind of a history of disasters in Japan and how we Japanese improve the how to manage the large disasters, especially the seismics, the earthquakes, and also the secondary. I'm gonna quickly touch about the tool and techniques which could be applicable in the disaster management context. And thirdly, I would like to bring some kind of a possibility for the project manager to help such kind of chaotic situations in the disaster management area, including the kind of a case study from Japan. So let me introduce myself briefly again. So now this is my profile. So as Jürgen explained, basically most of my background is from IT consulting for for-profit projects in the software engineering area. However, as listed here, I'm also have experience in a pretty much unusual, or let's say the chaotic situations in developing, let's say in a post-conflict area as well as a post-disaster area. So in a left hand, it's about the project with UNDP Somalia. So in the Somalia, as you may know, Somalia and the Southern Sudan, where is sort of post-conflict areas. So I did a kind of peace building project, like conducting a survey, like what kind of needs do they need to recover from the conflict to the sort of more stabilized the area. And also in the middle, this is a very recent project, but I'm work with Reach Alternatives, which is an NGO based in Japan, and currently they have conducted a project especially for the Syrian refugees in Turkey, even before the earthquake, and the target was, as you may know, the Syrians. There was a severe conflict in the Syria, and a lot of Syrians evacuated from Turkey to Turkey, and they need a lot of assistance, including the languages and also the shelters and so on. So the rails have provided such kind of emergency support for the Syrian refugees based in Turkey. Actually, while we are doing this project, the earthquake hit to them. So I'm very, very concerned about the current situation in the Syria and the Turkey. And the very right hand was about the one concern, which was my recent assignment. Actually, they have kind of technologies like providing the real-time simulation caused by the disasters such as the earthquake and the flood. So which enabled emergency managers to make more the response and preparedness workflow more efficiently. So, and we conducted some kind of pilot project with the Japanese local government. So, given that the kind of background, I would like to. I'm very pleased to share my story with the PMI community today. All right. So, and as for the top PM topics to be covered here. Here, the 6 items are supposed to be covered, but mainly the bolded things I would like to cover in my presentations, so that you may be able to gain a kind of insight from my experience in Japan to apply not only in the Syria and Turkey, but also in your community to enhance the disaster resilience. So let me briefly talk about Japan. So here's a kind of history of a major earthquake event in Japan. So of course, as you may know, as a Turkey and Syria, we experienced a very cyclic or periodical huge earthquake in Japan. So, but those 3 are kind of a very important events in terms of the evolve of kind of a disaster management by not only the government but also the kind of civil society in Japan. So back to the 1995, we had a great Hanshin Awaji earthquake, which was happened in very how to say, the second largest city called Osaka area, and about 6 or 7,000 people died. And this picture is a bit hard to see, but it's the highway was fell down, so that was sort of directly hit the huge city, and not only this kind of social infrastructure, but also the many the residential area that fell down. So most of the people died because of kind of crushing the houses. And as a result of that earthquake, we very voluntary activities became active, and they help each other on the ground. And after that, back to the 2011, maybe most of you guys know about this, but the Great East Japan earthquake happened, and at that time, in that event, mainly the most of people died for the tsunami. So after that, Japanese government came up with a sort of so-called national resiliency plan, so that we can build our infrastructures more resilient. And also, when it comes to the civil society, given that experience from the 1995, the many NPOs as well as the companies, deploy the many peoples on the ground immediately, so that they provided various support for the people affected by the disaster. And afterward, it's a bit relatively minor, but in 2016, in Kumamoto area, we also experienced a relatively large earthquake. And thanks to the lessons learned from the 2011, I suppose I can say, it's relatively well respond to the events. And actually, for the PMI Japan, we started that kind of the initiatives to cope with this kind of disasters, utilizing our expertise in the project management. So those events in 2011 and 2016, we had some activities to draft kind of a framework how to support those situations by the project management expertise. So I would like to cover this kind of examples in the following slides. So Turan techniques, I would like to talk mainly two things. One is the TPM approach, and the other is the stakeholder management. When it comes to the PM approach, I would like to say to briefly talk about the argument around agile versus waterfall. And I presented the I participated the preceding presentations, and many people are talking about agile. But I would like to say not only the agile, but also the waterfall is still valid. Depends on the phase of in the disaster management life cycle, starting from response and the recovery and mitigation, the preparedness, and especially in the mitigation phase, I believe that is still the waterfall model is still valid. And the breaking, but it's not, but it also depends on the type of the project. So I can categorize between the two type of this project. One is hard physical project versus a soft social project. So hard physical means kind of like buildings or bridges and other physical infrastructure project. And the soft and social project is about mainly the people. And as you can see, so basically in the response phase, the hard infrastructure is required to fix, make a kind of quick fix. So and afterward, in the recovery phase, maybe they also need a restoring essential services. And in the mitigation phase, rather than just a quick fix, but also this hard infrastructures should be reinforced more than that. So this kind of cycle should be keep in mind when we talk about the agile and the waterfall. So here is the why the hard or physical infrastructure measures why the waterfall is a fit for this kind of project. So basically in Japan, we have a very the top down approach planning methodologies there. So it starts from a national resilience plan, and it's cascading into the regional and community level. So this kind of structured model, the project itself to rebuild or enhance the resilient physical infrastructure, the waterfall type of the project is the fit more fit than the agile. And on the other hand, soft and social infrastructure project, I would like to briefly mention about the project for how to treat the people who evacuated caused by from the area due to the radioactive contaminations from the nuclear power plant in Fukushima area. So sorry for the busy slide, but I would like to highlight here is the biggest uncertainty here is when we can manage to stabilize the situation in the power plant, nuclear power plant in Fukushima. So the strategy of project planning to enable them to return to the place or relocate to somewhere else. It depends on the situation in Fukushima nuclear plant. So we require a kind of agile style the project. It depends on the time frame. So so again. Again, the argument around the agile and the waterfall model would be depends on the phase of the disaster management life cycle, and also we it's not only Japan but also in the U.S. The Biden administration's bringing a kind of a concept called Build Back Better. So which means once the huge disaster happens, we're gonna not only just fix it as before the disaster, but also building much more resilient status so that the government, so that the society or both the physical and the social infrastructure is going to be much stronger than the disaster happened. So to cope with this kind of project, I suppose the kind of hybrid approach between the agile and the waterfall would be applicable. That is the first point, and let's move on to the second point, which is about the stakeholder management. Again, as you all know, stakeholder management is still pretty important, whether it's old type waterfall model or the agile model. So I would like to mention why it's important in this context. So I can say that in the disaster management context, we can divide mainly into the two stakeholders. One is service provider, and the other is the beneficiaries. And when it comes to the service providers, there is a government, international organizations, NGOs, and other miscellaneous volunteer groups. And on the other hand, beneficiaries have a various kind of beneficiaries, like women, children, refugees, internal displaced peoples, physically challenged people, etc. Okay, so this is a kind of a matching between those two stakeholders. So, for example, I'm currently as I said, I'm currently working with the Japanese NGO, which explored in the Syria and Turkey, and I heard that the internal displaced people in Syria, Syrian internal displaced people in Syria doesn't want to take on the support from Syrian government because they are sort of forced to move. So they doesn't like to get a support from Syrian government. So in that case, international organizations or NGOs need critical role to support such kind of very specific a group of the people. So to fill in those kind of gap, this is an example of the benefit realization management. As PMI, we PMI have this kind of methodologies already. So I suppose we could use this kind of practice guide in the disaster management area as well. I'm afraid that it's a bit behind the time. So let me briefly explain about the example here about the ethnic minorities. As you can see, I would say here the point here is many people think that the Japan is a very homogeneous society, but that we have a minority as well, especially the non-Japanese natives difficulty especially in the disaster situations. For example, they cannot access to the informations about the support from the peoples, and also they may feel kind of a cultural differences and social isolations, especially in that kind of difficult situations. So we now a lot of project is ongoing, making the project the informations more multilingual stuff, and also the community integration is also a key to increase the resilience for the certain communities. So I believe that this kind of experience in Japan could be applicable for the Syrian and the Turkey as well. Yeah. So, and now next step, I would like to give some kind of suggestion or insight about how a project manager can help those situations. So this is a sort of framework used by in Japan. So there are mainly three thing how to help the situations. One is the public help. Obviously, the government and the local government is responsible for to provide a treatment for the people affected by the disaster, but it's not always sufficient, even in Japan. So the Japanese government officially encourages the people to promote the mutual help within the community, so that and also as well, and also sometimes the mutual help is not sufficient enough. So we ourselves also have to help ourselves, so that those three the effort could to deal with the difficult situation after the disaster. But however, especially in the Syria and the Turkey context, I suppose the public help would be much weaker than Japan. And also, when it comes to the self-help, the vulnerable people like Syrian refugees could also be very too vulnerable to help themselves. So I believe that this mutual help, including not only the domestic, but also the international mutual help, could be pretty key for the recovery phase. So I would like to share this kind of a case study from Japan. Honestly, I'm not personally involved in this project, but PMI did a kind of support for the NPO, which support other NPOs or voluntary groups by providing the disaster-related informations, collecting the information and sharing the information to the people, so that the people can take further actions based on the informations given by that NPO called IT Dirt. So how did the PMIJ did? So as I briefly mentioned before, the PMIJ came up with this so-called social PM framework, and so as you can see, the many people, voluntary groups have a very, or a social project may have this kind of challenges, like how to identify the needs and set goals, or diverse stakeholders, as I said, and also project outcomes are not easy to recognize, and the progress does not proceed as planned. Difficult to make a prioritizations, and also the main issues with sustainabilities. So to overcome those challenges, we came up with those things, those frameworks. Most of them are pretty same methodology as we use in a for-profit project, but we redesigning those components for the social project in the social for the NPOs. So how we did? So there were mainly two steps. One is the benefit analysis, and the second step is the social service iterations. So first of all, we did a kind of exercise to confirm the logic model, which enable service providers to confirm how the outcome or impact from the project could compatible with their organization's missions and values, and through that through the lens of the stakeholders, it's break down into the benefit list, and the how to benefit list, how to attain the benefit list. They come up with the business plans, our business realization plans, and doing the iterations, as you can see. And if I break down more about the iteration process, here is design thinking and agile methodologies come here. So now, probably if you are in the software industry, it's pretty much you are familiar with this kind of model. But the IT Dirt is kind of service provider for the people in the disaster management. So we helped them to make a prioritization through the design thinking and the piling up the backlog, and then by the agile methodologies, we keep on updating we launch the minimum viable product or services first, and then improving that kind of services through the agile iterations. So this kind of methodologies works for that in NPO as well. So the lessons learned from the project was, I can say that practitioners here is sort of people who work in the NPOs. So they tend to take actions by goodwill, firstly. So it's very, if the people who are in trouble in front of them, they would like to help for each. But if a lot of people require help, they need to make a prioritizations, and also and also they need to care about the activities linked to their corporate or groups vision or missions. So the project managers can help to sort out the situations and then make a right prioritizations so that the NPOs can maximize their social impact through by the project management methodologies, even in the disaster management area. So that's the lessons learned from the project. So here are the conclusion. So again, seems like judging from the expected agenda from the PMI for this event, seems like we are mainly focusing on the very short-term period in the chaotic situations. But the as you may know, it takes much more time. It takes 10 years, 20 years to make more resilient society. For example, Japanese government has already invested more than the 400 billion USD. To execute that, the project manager should be a very key person to enable that. So I would like to emphasize that not only this event, but also after the event, the audience can support this kind of activities somehow in the long term. Yeah, this is it for my presentation. Thank you. Oops, sorry, I can't hear you. You're on mute, maybe.
You're quite right, I'm on mute. Thank you. Fascinating to hear a little bit of the background in what's happened there. One very quick question before the ones I really want to get to. You talked about the social framework that you've developed within PMI Japan. Is this something that is more generally available? And if so, how would people go about accessing it?
Okay. Thank you for the question. First of all, it's not publicable available, and also I have to admit that it's still the sort of the working document, and the event in Kumamoto earthquake in 2016, that was the first time to apply the draft of the social framework. But however, as I said, it's not like a very unique framework for each. But the value of our value is reorganize those framework to accommodate the difficult situations in the disaster management. So I would like to emphasize here is all the project manager could help to the people we could leverage our knowledge and experience which used mainly for the business context. Still they are very valid. I would like to encourage you to involve in that kind of project if you have a chance. Let me give some. Let me give more concrete example. So what PMI did is, can you see my screen?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
I'll put it back on.
Yeah, it's coming. So here is we supported kind of the agile process to improve their services. So it was that PMIJ had a kind of a regular meeting with them to confirm the situations and and conducted some kind of interviews to confirm to recognize the latest situation and challenges on the ground, and piling up the discussion node on the Google Docs, and tracking the progress on the common board trail by using a trail, and promoting the more synchronized communications by using Slack, so that this kind of agile iterations are going to be smoothly iterated. So those tools should be very familiar with for us, the project managers, but not for the practitioners on the ground. So just bringing into this kind of methodologies, that could be very helpful for them to increase their efficiency.
Thank you. You talked about one of the philosophies within the PMI Japan being build back better. So could you just elaborate on that a little bit more, and how can we help in disaster recovery, wherever it might be? How can we help organizations to not try and just simply replace like for like, but to build back better?
Yeah, that concept is mainly used for not only used for the hardware physical infrastructure, but also used for the social infrastructure. So probably it's maybe easy to imagine, like even in terms of physical infrastructure, it could be very easy to imagine for you because once, for example, the many levees was damaged by the tsunami in 2011. So we are trying to build up the much better levee, and not to break down again. But the tsunami was taller than 5 meters or 10 meters sometimes in the event. So if we are going to piling up the 10 meters levee in the shores, everything is going to be blocked, right? So it's unrealistic to manage this kind of manage to deal only by the physical infrastructure. But also we need to manage or bring up, train the society to deal with this kind of unexpected level tsunami. For example, we need evacuation drills, and in reality, most of them are affected, not just evacuating appropriately. So if we well trained, if the people well understand the risk, and also if we are well trained in advance, that's kind of training is also the part of build back better process. So the people also have to become more resilient as a preparedness activity.
And I think you brought that up very well when you talked about the 3 different levels of help. We can have public help, there's the mutual help among each other, but you also have to train people, teach people for self-help, to actually be able to step in and do some of the basics for themselves, rather than creating a culture of dependency all the time. Unfortunately, we are out of time. We've got maybe a minute left before. So thank you very much for your time. I know you had a few guests available just in case they needed to. Thank you very much for your time too. I'm sorry we didn't get to hear from you. But if there are any other questions for Rio, then please feel free to put them into the chat, and we'll try and get to those in due course. Again, one of the key lessons that Rio covered for us, we can be prepared. We need to be prepared. He talked to us a little bit about some of the differences between the physical, the hard projects and the soft social projects, and the need for us to get involved in both. So again, please make sure that, using that analogy, we've got some soft skills and some thinking things we need to do, that things we can take away for how do we apply this in our lessons. We also have some public help that we can provide to Turkey and Syria, and the lessons that we've learned from Japan. So thank you very much for your attention, for your help, and your participation in the seminar today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move into a transition before we have our final speaker for what has been an epic conference. I trust you've been enjoying it, you've been taking a lot away for you. If you have not yet done so, please take this opportunity of going into the social networking environment. On the tab on the link next to you on the left-hand side called networking. Jump in there, see who else is around, build up a few new connections, because part of this is not just to raise funds. That's obviously a key part, but it's also to start building connections with people who are interested in project management, people who are interested in humanitarian needs, people who want to help change the environment and help build that resilience. So jump in there, get to meet somebody new if you haven't done it yet. If you also haven't done that, go and have a look at the videos. There are resources out there that can help you identify what CARE does, identify where PMI stands on disaster recovery and help. So make use of those facilities as well. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back for our final speaker.